I was halfway down the aisle when my maid of honor stood up and announced she was pregnant, with my fiancé's baby. She waved ultrasound photos high above her head while the entire room gasped. But what she didn't know was that I had already discovered her secret, and I had a plan that would leave her humiliated in front of everyone she thought she could manipulate. You see, Sarah wasn't just my maid of honor. She had been my best friend since middle school. We had sleepovers, shared crushes, went to prom together, even moved into our first apartments around the same time. To everyone else, she was the loyal friend who would never let me down. But behind closed doors, Sarah always had a way of making things about herself. And this time, she chose my wedding day. Sarah was the type of person who borrowed things and never gave them back. Clothes, jewelry, even money. She flirted with guys I dated, sometimes right in front of me, and laughed it off as a joke. Over the years, I ignored the red flags because I didn't want to lose my best friend. When I got engaged to Mark, she cried like it was her own proposal. She told me she was so happy for me, but the look in her eyes said something else. 2 weeks before the wedding, I started noticing her behavior change. She'd pull Mark aside to whisper about plans, but the second I walked in, they'd stop talking. She skipped a dress fitting with the excuse of being sick, but posted photos out with friends that same night. My gut told me something was wrong, but I didn't have proof. That is, until the night before the wedding. Mark had fallen asleep early, leaving his phone charging on the nightstand. Something in me couldn't resist. I opened his messages and my heart sank. Dozens of texts from Sarah, some flirty, some outright suggestive. And then, the photo. A pregnancy test with the words, "I told you she'll find out eventually." My entire body went cold. My best friend was pregnant, and she wanted everyone to know. I stayed up the entire night, sick to my stomach, but not because of heartbreak. I felt rage, betrayal, and under it all, a strange sense of clarity. Calling off the wedding would give them what they wanted. No, I wasn't going to let Sarah take my moment. Instead, I was going to let her destroy herself, and I knew exactly how. The music played, guests smiled, cameras flashed. As I took my steps down the aisle, my heart pounded. Then, right on cue, Sarah stood up. She pulled ultrasound photos from her clutch and announced she was carrying Mark's child. People gasped, mouths fell open, whispers echoed through the church. All eyes turned to me, waiting for me to collapse. But instead, I smiled. I let her finish. I even nodded, as if thanking her. Then I turned to the officiant and asked if I could address the guests. I reached into my bouquet and pulled out a sealed manila envelope. "Sarah's right," I said. "She and Mark have been keeping secrets, and today, it's time everyone knows." The envelope went to my lawyer, a family friend, and was already invited to the wedding, who was sitting in the front row. Inside was not only proof of the affair, but bank records showing Sarah had stolen $5,000 from the wedding fund I trusted her to manage. Gasps turned into outrage. People stood from their seats, demanding answers. Sarah's face drained of color as the entire room realized what she had done. Mark stammered, trying to deny it. Sarah dropped the ultrasound photos, insisting I was lying. But my lawyer calmly handed out copies of the evidence. There was no denying it now. My parents looked horrified. His parents looked ashamed. And Sarah? She sat down, trembling, her eyes filling with tears. The confident smirk she wore minutes earlier had vanished. I turned to the crowd, thanked them for coming, and said the wedding was canceled. But before I left, I made sure to look Sarah dead in the eyes. "You wanted this day to be about you," I told her. "Congratulations, it is." Then I walked back down the aisle, not as a bride, but as someone who had taken back control. Later that week, Mark tried to call me. Sarah posted online about being betrayed by fake friends. But none of it mattered. I had already filed for fraud charges against her for the stolen money, and Mark's name was now a warning instead of a memory. So tell me, was I wrong for letting her humiliate herself in front of everyone? Or did she deserve every second of it?